that kind of leads me into this feeling that you had watching the Raptors finals run last year. And as someone who's played on multiple teams, and you started with Toronto and you helped build that franchise into an elite team, so your sentiments are probably a little different than some of my sentiments as I left other teams, because I didn't have probably as much invested as you did in Toronto. But I know every time I've left a team, I'm completely torn. There's this period of time where you're actively rooting against them, and then there's a period of time where you accept it and you're like, all right, I want to see my friends win. I like this year with the Clippers. Like, I would have loved it if Doc had won a chip with LA. That would have been great. I would have been happy. 3 years ago, probably not. So I'm just curious about those emotions that you went through last year during the playoffs.
It definitely was tough, man. It was tough from the standpoint of, like you said, I was there 9 years, went through everything, accomplished so much things that people said we'd never be able to do. And that, I think for me, that's what drove me in my whole career. All the naysayers, like my whole time there, of us trying to build a winning program. And for me to turn into an all-star starter, see the all-star game, come to Toronto for the first time, make the playoffs, win every type of award you could think of, and kind of trend in the right direction. And for the one person that we only lost to leave, and us not to have a chance to be able to see what that would have turned into, for me personally, then me leave, then to see those guys get to where they was going, it definitely was tough. I wouldn't even lie. It was tough to see it, especially once we lost in the playoffs, and you sit back and you see them winning, then you kind of feel like, damn, was that a problem? You know what I mean? Like, then you'd be like, nah, I wasn't a problem. Because we was doing the same thing. We just couldn't get past one person. So you're dealing with those type of emotions every time you watch it, every time you turn on the TV. And the shit was so crazy to me, because every time they did something, it was like, if I went on social media, if I turned on something, my name was always in the narrative too. That's what made it worse. It was like, yo, all right, just leave me alone out of it. Do what you gotta do. But I had such a close bond with all those guys. Obviously, everybody know me and Cal relationship, but especially those young guys, man. We molded those guys, and I never seen young dudes work as hard as they work when it comes to like a Freddie VanVleet, a Norm, a Pascal, like all these guys. Like, I used to go to the G League games, and they'd show up with us the next morning for shoot around and play with, like, they were so locked in. So to see those guys go out there and perform the way that they perform, I was always constantly talking to them, keeping them positive. If they lost a game, if they was going through something, if they needed whatever, through the whole process, I talked to them. And as soon as they won, I texted everybody a long text, and congratulating them. I was happy for them, because I knew how rough it was being there, playing there, man. It was tough playing there, man. Like, nobody never gave us nothing. We had to fight, earn everything we wanted. And, I think for me, that was the part that hurt the most for me, because it's like, I finally wanted to feel that positive side of everything that we kind of went through all those years to get to that point. But, the city, I'm always invested in them differently. The everybody who worked for that organization, I still stay in contact with to this day. So, it was tough. I had my moments where I'm like, man, I can't watch this shit. I'm turning this shit off. And I had my moments to where it's like, I just want to see my guys do well. I want to see my guys do well. I want to talk to them, everything. So it was dope. And even to see Cal after they won it on the podium, shouted my name out, everything. So it to me, it made it feel like it was bigger than basketball at that point. But, I definitely had my moments.